Yes, indeed. You already know what it is. You know how we do it. Big Kitchen Talk. We back heavy on the Big Kitchen Talk. It is not a love show. It is not a cooking show. It is a show that we come together in the kitchen and we have real talk, man. Big shout out to my brother Ricky. Free Ricky till they free him. Holla Marat, Jersey, Georgie. Georgie, your favorite town boy. It's your boy Maino, the lobby boy. We got a special episode today. We got a special episode, man. I mean, I could say so many things about this brother. You know, been a part of so many classic movies, so many classic tales that, you know, that stick to us. The one and only Omar Epps is in the building. He in the kitchen with us today. How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, my G.
Glad to be here, man.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man.
Proud of all of y'all doing
glad
your
to
thing.
have you.
know what I
Yo,
mean?
bro, listen. For me, right? Like I was just thinking about how you've been a part of so many classic movies in our culture. Like we talking Love and Basketball, we talking Juice, we talking Higher Learning, we
And
talking.
Too Deep.
You,
Yo, give me the ooh.
look. You ain't no Cop J. Reed. That's my line of all times. You don't understand. That is my movie. You ain't no Cop J. Reed.
Salute to the OGL.
Yeah, salute the L, man. Salute the L. But that is so crazy to me. How does that feel, being a part of so many classics like that?
I think now I'm getting to smell the roses because it's different generations. I think when you in something, you just doing it. You know what I mean? Like you're not even thinking that far. So it's kind of like I don't know, like a Kobe or a Mike, like asking them, yo, when you was playing game 6 of this, what was you thinking?
Right,
it's
that's
like
true.
you just on go. You just
Right.
on go. You know what I mean? So that's what I was back then, and I was fortunate to start so young. You know, I did Juice. I was 17 years old.
17.
So I was a baby.
Cult
you know what I mean?
classics. And the thing is, right, you know, coming from Brooklyn, growing up in the hood.
It's a BK takeover episode.
That's right.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just
Understand? Yeah. In case you didn't know.
Yeah.
In case you thought it was something else.
Yeah.
Now you know.
It's
But
BK.
coming from Brooklyn, like what pushed you towards acting?
That's a great question. It was a bunch of things. You know, my mom's is Bonnie Epps. She educated half of New York City. Everybody know that. And so I was real heavy into reading because of her. And my grandmother was a photographer, a writer. My grandpops was a jazz musician, businessman. So I just had these like pieces, right? And for me, it all started with writing. I used to write poetry and, you know, learning about the Black Panthers and things like that. I was like Michael from Good Times in real life.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's
Little
real.
revolutionary dude.
Wow.
And so from the poetry, acting became like an extension of that expression. Like, you know, I could write this or say these words, but then how do you emote them?
Articulate it.
Yeah, articulate it through emotion. And then my acting hero, like my Michael Jordan of acting, was Sidney Poitier.
Oh, wow.
So when I was a kid, they was just now starting to show some of his plays they were making into films. So that's kind of how I got hip to him. And I just was blown away by his power, his grace, his eloquence. You know, he said so much through his eyes without saying words. And also the power of imagery, like seeing someone who, you know, because back then you ain't see a dark-skinned person on TV like that if they wasn't like cooning or something like that. So seeing this Black man hold his power, it just
Stand on his.
it just captured me, you know. And then I just started down the road, and 30 years later, here we are.
Wow, that's dope because you come up in a time where you could have got caught up in so many different things.
Yeah.
You know, it was so easy
For
to
sure.
get caught up in the drugs and the violence that was just prevalent in the neighborhoods at this time. So the fact that you had a support system at home that helped push you in that direction is definitely dope.
Yeah, and it was just, you know, it was me and my mom's, man, and when I think about it now, I appreciate it even more because, as I said, she's an educator, so it wasn't like she was making bread like that, and she's literally educating.
Wow.
My mom's was
city.
like the city, and so
Educating
she was
city.
like in real life, she was like Joe Clark from that movie Lean
No,
on Me.
yeah.
My mom's used to be in the hood
Right.
public schools, getting close with
Yeah.
the community, to this, that, and the other. So I took it like there's a combination of that, and there's a combination of some of my OGs was like, I was a shorty that was like, nah. I used to play Pop Warner football for the Brooklyn Skyhawks, all of that. They was like, nah, shorty, go to practice. Nah, shorty, do this. Nah,
Take
you
your
good with
line.
that? The real OGs.
That's right.
Like, nah, we see something
That's
in you.
right.
Get out of here
That's
with
right.
us. Yo,
That's right.
you need? What you need? 6 wings, 4 wings, fried rice? Here, take that. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So just having that type of like you said, support system, it really helped me develop. I'm one of those people who I love the challenge. So if you tell me I can't do something, my whole mission is to prove
You wrong.
you wrong. And then I learned that I'm really competing with myself. I have to prove to myself. So for me, everybody has different circumstances. So it's not about judgment. Like I ain't had a shell toe Adidas, I ain't had a Fila this, I ain't had a velour.
Right.
But at a young age, again, going back to like when I said I was like Michael from Good Times,
Right.
I was very aware of community, our community as Black and brown people. And I'm like, nah, I can't do that. One, because it's too easy, everybody doing it. We came up in the same era,
right.
practice hitting
That's
all of
right.
that.
That's right.
Everybody could do that, but
right.
I'm seeing the results, the domino effect. Like, well, don't nobody make it past this age.
There's only about 2 ways this could go.
Yeah, only 2 ways. And I'm like, nah, my life is more precious to me than 2 options. I gotta find something else to do. So, it's almost like that. What's that movie when Robert De Niro, Bronx Tale, when he was like, the working man's the tough guy. You know
That's
what I'm
a
saying?
fact. That is a fact.
And
the thing about that, because my story is a little bit different, is the fact that I got caught up in the street very early because I didn't have those examples at home that really was stern enough and strong enough to push me towards something else other than the jungle. So my father had addiction and my mother had her issues, and so the streets had embraced us, right? And it was so easy to be involved. And as I think about what you're saying and think about how you had those examples to get you over there, because you knew early, right? You said you knew early that this ain't gonna work. This is not gonna work. We didn't figure that out until the judge was like, this is your sentence.
Right. I understand that, and that's why, before the camera started rolling, when I tell you I'm proud of you, I'm genuinely, truly proud of
that.
you. You know what I mean?
Appreciate
Because
that.
you was able to get off the train track and then create your own track.
Indeed.
And that's admirable. And that's a testament to, I'm a very spiritual person, but that's a testament to the higher power, because he need people like us to have our testimony for the next generation. So a young shorty coming up like you could be like, damn, I got similar circumstances. And I grew up, I ain't had no pops, I ain't know this, that, and the other. But for my journey was different because of my family structure. I took that on real young. I'm talking about 8, 9 years old. I learned how to cook when I was 8 years old. My family used to be beefing with my mom. Like, how you got this kid turning on the stove?
She was
like, he might burn
preparing you.
She was preparing me, and I took it serious. Like, yo, I am the man of the house. I gotta figure it out in a way I gotta be here though. You know what I mean? I can't be behind the wall doing it. That don't even work. You know what I mean? So I just took that on. So I say that to say your journey was uniquely yours with purpose. With purpose. You know what I mean? So to me, the way I look at it, we came up the same way.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Same circumstances, but the drive for you to come out of your circumstances, and everybody knows, well documented, but to find the ways to making a pivot is easy. Having a discipline to maintain it is the hard part. The discipline. And you have that. And so your viewers need to know that. Like, everything could look flashy and we could talk this, but we talking about in real life when nobody's around. Do I do this or do I do that?
Right. The discipline that it takes to continue to do something, even when it feels like it's not working, times when you feel tired, times when you feel unseen, times when you unsure yourself, and all of those thoughts start to creep in your mind, those doubts, those reservations. The discipline keeps you going, right? The courage to say, you know what, I'm gonna stay on this track no matter what, and you weather the storm, and that's what we do.
I look at it like going back to spirituality because the victory's already won. And that's what we have to realize. We've been so disconnected from our true spirituality and taught all of these different, I'm not judging nobody, but everybody has a right to believe what they want to believe.
Right.
But surely we are all connected in some shape, fashion, or form. When I say we, not just people, the plants, the animals, everything that's alive.
That's a fact.
It's everything's connected.
You see the same light cycle. Right. So, but the victory is already won. So when people ask me, like when young kids ask me if I talk in schools, they're like, did you ever think you was gonna be doing what you're doing? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I seen it. I was mad young. I visualized. I'm like, yep, I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be doing that. Now, when you're going through life, you don't know when it's gonna happen per se, but you have to have the discipline to stay on course. No, this is who I want to be, and this is how I want to be.
And you have the power of your destiny. You speak these things into existence.
Just like I'm sure you did. I'm sure you might not express that to nobody else when you talk about rapping or, you know what I mean? And you like, is this real? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's not just about the dollar. This is what I want the young people to acknowledge or at least realize at their own point. Yeah, we hungry right now in the moment. Yeah, we this, that, and the other, but there's so many ways to take care of that in a sense that the main thing that's lost right now is the village in our community. We used to take care of each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If mama ain't had no rice, I could go down the hall of Miss Johnson, get some rice or whatever, and we all kind of pitch in together. So now he ain't hungry, so he ain't gonna go outside and do something, you know what I mean? Crazy. But
everybody for themselves.
We gotta have that focus. The victory's already won. You know what I mean?
And even in those experiences, you know, just on a spiritual note, even in those experiences where you feel doubt or you feel like I don't know how I'm gonna get past this point, there's certain things that happen sometimes that show you that there's a higher power behind what's going on to make you believe again that you're on the right path. I've had so many situations like that where it's just like I don't know, you know, and something to happen that'll be like, God, like I got your back.
That little
like,
glimmer of hope.
Yes, it just makes it easier on the journey where you just like, I hit that rough patch again. But I've been here before, or I've been through worse. Like I know He got me, so I'm calm about it. I'm patient, you know. So
He's always trying to teach you patience.
Everybody also, and this is a lesson I picked up when I was young, going back to my mom's, because there's always someone else going through something more.
That's right. That's right.
And we don't consider that. You know what I'm saying? So when I was a shorty and if I had a half day of school, something, I'm gonna go see my mom's, whatever, and go in her office, and it'd be some kid in there that is burnt. Like she's calling the city and them, the ambulances and all of this, and it's like, damn. And we the same age, and I'm like, damn, what happened to this kid? And it's, his parents is on crack, his pops is on crack, burnt him with an iron or something, and it would make me feel bad because as a kid, I'm sitting there like I ain't got ColecoVision, Sega, like I'm worried about this.
You worry about that.
And this kid is going through that.
Issues.
That
right there helped me through my journey. It helped me in prison. It helped me after prison. That whole idea of understanding that somewhere in life you always in the middle, right? There's always somebody doing better than you, and there's always people doing worse than you. So I would be in prison going, man, I got 5 to 15, man. I'm all right, though, because I'm sitting next to dudes that got 25, 30, right? And then in life, it's the same thing. You want more, you got to attract more, you got to push for more, but at the same time, sometimes we complain or feel bad about our situations. We turn to our left and there's somebody really going through something. You know, I see, when we talk about working out, I see the guy lifting weights with one arm. He only has one arm.
That's ill.
Or the girl that don't have no arms and drive on her feet. Y'all saw that? When I see things like that, I say, I ain't got nothing to complain about.
Operating in gratitude is a real thing.
That's it.
It gives you a whole new perspective on
Gratitude
life.
is the foundation.
Yeah, seriously.
Being thankful. What you
Grateful.
just said is really profound because I remember being a kid. I don't remember how old I was. Let's just say if I was like 10 or 11, and me and my moms went to the store, and it was the first time I saw a paraplegic person. So
Right,
you know,
from the neck down.
From the neck
Yeah,
down, and they had
probably.
that's when he could only operate the wheelchair with his chin.
Yeah, quadriplegia actually.
Quadriplegia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but Dukes was smiling, like, and it always stuck with me because when when you kids, you like, oh, they got the cooties or something like that. Like I was a kid,
Right.
so I was like scared to be
You're right.
around.
It would be
like,
scary when you're young. Yeah, that
you know what I'm
would
saying?
be scary to see.
But it never, to this day, you know what I'm saying? I'm 49 years old. I remember this man's face because he was smiling and I was confused because when I left the store, all I kept thinking was like, what is there to smile about if you in that situation? And now I realize, like, yo, he's happy to be alive. Like, at least I got that.
At least I can still.
You see what I'm saying?
See the sun. At least I can still, smell and see the days go by. Right. At least
Exactly.
I'm still here. So it's always hope, man.
And that's what it is about for these young cats. You know, our generation, like, people feel like it's a lost cause, and I totally disagree. I think it's about communicating. They coming up in a different time. You know what I'm saying? Things seem more violent. I think there's two sides of that argument, but the point is, ain't nothing new under the sun.
Right.
You know, not just what we was going through when we was coming up in the 70s, 80s, whatever. Just keep going back before that. Keep going back before
But
that.
even
Keep going back before that, and then get to 1,000 years ago and look how the streets was. They was wilding. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're progressing as a species, but to our community, it's like, yo, we need that village back. You know what I mean? And the young cats have so many opportunities that some are taking advantage of, but even the gang culture in New York specifically, gangs was always in New York.
Gangs was always
You see what I'm
around,
saying?
period. Gangs was always
But
in
the
New York,
cause
definitely.
of it was different. It was more community, cause. Even the advent of the Bloods and the Crips in LA. That was a community thing.
thing.
It wasn't about hustling, we want to beat them. That was more like we got to form our own police to protect ours. you know.
right.
Now we in the flip side of that coin.
Right.
But it's like ebb and flow to everything. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have to go through the turmoil to get to the joy.
It's a fact. You gotta go through hell to get to heaven.
But these kids are influenced by just all types of different things now too. Like I kind of realized that the other day. Like they play video games and learn how to like shoot the gun, load the gun, do all these things. And like somewhere I read that most of the killing and stuff that's at an all-time high in New York City right now isn't even from like them just buying guns. Like they're like making the guns. Like they're like learning how to
3D
make it.
printing and
Like
all of
ghost
that.
guns is a thing now. So it's just like, how do you even for parents, it's like, how do you even become a good influence or show them the way if you don't even know where they're learning these things
I
from?
don't let my kid, like I have my little one, like you can't play with guns, not even Nerf guns.
How old?
He's 7. Like I don't.
That's video game age.
Yes, but you can't, like there has to be some
TikTok,
type
like-
of parental guidance there. A lot of them, unfortunately, you have some absent parents and you have parents who are not around because they're too busy working, trying to make ends meet. So they're not supervising them as much as they can be. But a lot of the times, like me personally, I supervise my kids with certain things. There's a schedule with certain things. You can't be on YouTube that long. You can't watch certain things. If it has a curse on it, he already know. I'd be like, what was that? He'd be like, I'm changing it. Because you already know. Like, you have to have that
Keep 'em a
discipline and
kid.
that order. Yes, you keep them a kid.
And I just want to piggyback on what you're saying, not to cut you, but the other thing is like it's a 24-hour cycle of information. Video games, like people try to say it's the music or it's the movies, film, it's like, nah. Because the thing about those things is they're finite amounts of time that you're listening to the song or watching the thing. And there's also the emotional domino effect of whatever you might see. You don't just see like, we like Scarface, and you see what happens to him in the end.
Right.
So that thing sticks in your brain. Video games are really dangerous because there's no emotional accountability of you playing GTA and da-da-da-da-da. And you on there for some kids sit on there
Hours.
hours.
It's a distraction.
And you talking to other people that you
Right.
don't even know. So you hear
And
the
they're
whole
mean.
world.
And sometimes they're mean. There's times I had to get my son off the game because you're in a party where they're cursing and stuff like that, and his feelings
Party,
get hurt.
right.
You get what I'm
Metaverse.
saying? And I'm like, what happened? Why are you crying? And he was like, because they hurt my feelings. They called me this. I'm like, you
wow.
gotta get off. I was like, you don't know them. They don't know you.
Not
And it's
real
like,
life,
now you
yeah.
gotta do, you know what I mean? Now you gotta console him or like explain to him what's happening because he doesn't understand.
But they really don't realize that that's not real life, and then they go out in
Right.
real life
Because
and
that's
execute
that-
these
that-
things.
that's
But
what I
that's
was.
where-
They're growing up not social.
That's what I was about to say.
Right,
I was
growing
about
up
to
like
say is like everything is virtual now. I would implore parents, yo, this is why the village is important.
We had to go outside.
Go outside,
We had to go
play
outside.
basketball,
Right.
get into a scrap
That's
over
right.
there.
That's right. Get it to
Yep, get into a fight because this internet stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
It
right.
Play
teaches you
manhunt,
life
right.
skills. all
play
that.
tag
right.
around the projects.
They
like,
don't, they don't,
That's a
they
fact.
don't do that no
No.
more,
It's-
and that's
everything is
dangerous.
virtual. Everything. Everybody is on their phone, in their house, on a video game. And then when you come outside, right, it's just like it's the same thing. You know, we even as adults, we in a restaurant, like,
It's crazy.
you know, front
Spending quality time looking at our
Yeah.
phone.
looking at our phone.
I will grab a
Everything's
phone and
virtual.
put it down real quick.
But it's deep though, because then you start to think about, oh, well, at least I think about the why, right? And then I start to see other things where it's like, oh, this is all by design.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at things like this, I mean, obviously there's a gift and a curse to everything, but like social media,
Mhm.
this is all scientific, by the way. Y'all could, whatever, Google
Mm-hmm.
facts. But, you know, it releases the same like endorphins and like chemicals in your body as taking a drug.
Right. That's just, right.
So that's
a
why
fact.
people wake up,
It's-
the first thing they do is grab
it's
their
addictive.
phone. They don't
Mhm.
wake up and
Wild.
pray no more. They don't wake up and meditate for themselves. They don't wake up and hug their wife or their husband or whatever.
First
you
thing
know,
you
and
do
say,
is
hey,
grab your phone.
they grab their phone.
Get
It's-
your news from there, your gossip, everything. It's right there on your phone.
It's crazy. It's dangerous, and that's not
And that's at the
real
tone of your
life.
day.
There's a documentary actually I was watching about that.
On Netflix.
Yeah, I think it is Netflix. We talked about that. About it was designed that way. You know, to what is the word? Not analytics. The algorithm.
Algorithm.
Right. So all of the things that you like always pop up.
Not just
All
all
the
the
things
things
you
that
talk-
you
you
like,
talk
all the things
about,
you talk about.
all
You
the
click
things you
on one
mentioned,
thing, you watch a video, a whole bunch of videos like that will come up.
Everything pops up. It's designed to keep you right in there and keep you addicted and keep you right in that space. 100%.
Yeah, and some
It's
people don't understand the
designed.
algorithm. You
Yeah,
gotta
but-
change. Like I tell people all the time, like change your algorithm. You know
Right.
what I mean? If you on it, you gotta change your algorithm. Watch what like I've literally deleted a whole bunch of stuff on my Instagram and started following more like financial
Positive.
stuff, more positive
Right.
stuff or whatever, just to change the algorithm.
And they'll keep pushing it to you. So that's why I said the why,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because human ingenuity is the original algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You know, as they say, necessity is the mother of all invention. So you're not thinking about ways. Let's just use Uber, for example. They wasn't thinking, oh, we want to have $1 billion company in this. Nah, they was a bunch of tech dudes who couldn't get a cab in Frisco. And they was like sitting around one
came
day
up
like,
with a
what if
idea.
what if we could,
Ingenuity.
the cab comes to us, this is solving a problem.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Something that we need.
Then everything else comes after that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we're being reprogrammed. Or
Yeah.
not, maybe not us, but like the younger generation, and they don't realize it. And I go back to that video game piece because it's heavy. Like a lot of these cats, you know, they out there with the switches and the whatever, but it's not real life. Like you never really seen that happen to nobody. And then damn near every single time, you know they're gonna get caught up. Then they get
fact.
caught up. You skinny, you malnourished, you around dudes is like you just said, they not coming home. They lifting the whole jail, and you're literally a child. Now you want your mama. Now you want mama. Yeah, it don't work like that. There's real consequences to this, and so it's just like think it through because come on, dog. We come from you know what it is. Even just in the borough, is what block he from, what block she from, whatever.
Right.
When we go, we going to this club. All right, everybody Brooklyn is here. Everybody Queens over there. So forth and so on. You know what I mean? But you ain't getting in no fight with somebody stepping on your shoe.
Not at all.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Somebody, pardon me. You know what I mean?
course.
You could tell, oh, Dukes is he trash. He spilling the drink. Yo, my man.
Easy. Think for him.
But we going home.
Right.
I'm going home.
That's the
You know what I mean?
that's the mission.
I'm not gonna sit here and for what?
Right.
Because when you sitting in that box, you're frozen in time. You frozen in ice. All you doing, I mean, you can speak to this more than me, but all you doing is thinking about the one moment, like, damn, all of these milliseconds right there, and I wouldn't even be here. And it wasn't even that serious.
It
You know what I
happens
mean?
so fast.
It happened so fast, and the course of your entire life has changed forever. So I just see, I'm just appealing to the younger cats because, as they say, the children are the future. That's the
Right.
truth, and we both got kids in this world, so I think
100%.
about this a lot.
And
you know what I mean?
you never been to prison or none of that, but you actually played.
Yeah.
You tapped into that like the first time felon.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that while I was in prison.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I watched that while I was in prison. So it was an HBO joint.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that. When you shoot something like that, do you feel, or do you come close to the feeling of feeling incarcerated?
Absolutely, because you have to immerse yourself into every character, their world. So First Time Felon was basically a true story about this cat. God bless Greg Yance. He was out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Passed away, but it was basically kind of like a part of his life story.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're building a character, you're building a complete universe for an individual. So I'm talking about everything from how they laugh to what's their favorite food, what's their favorite color, why they don't like this color, who's the girl they had a crush on when they was 12, like every single thing you can think of as much as you can.
Right.
And then you just start to sink into that space. And then it's a collaborative effort if you have the proper team where, obviously you could, I grew up with,
That's right.
you know what I mean?
That's
with
right.
Mainos.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I ain't nothing to make a call like, yo, my man, I'm gonna ask you something out the blue, but
That's
you know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's
How
right.
was it on this night at Christmas? And you might tell me a story you never told nobody, and that take that to like in my soul, not just the heart, like damn. Cause I start imagining
Internalize that.
Internalize
Put
it, you know what I mean?
yourself there.
Yeah.
In the emotion.
In order to create these moments that will hopefully inspire people. So when you talk about a film like First Time Felon, it's still that you brought that film up because I've had on more than one occasion, grown men come up to me with tears in their eyes, like, yo, I know you did a bunch of movies, but that joint, and then they tell me a part of their life story. Yo, I was down,
Right.
or I had just got out of this, and I was thinking about going back to this, but when I seen this scene, it just hit me, and I was like, and then they had to stay on the path.
Right.
To betterment.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
What about love and basketball? Like, did you actually play sports?
Well, I played football. I played football, box, martial arts and all of that.
But did you play basketball?
I didn't play basketball. Actually, to be factual, basketball was my worst hated sport.
So you had to practice.
Yeah, I practiced with the assistant coach of the UCLA Bruins basketball team.
That's fire.
He was, oh man.
That was, to this day, that's like my favorite movie.
Definitely-
I used to play
it's
basketball. I
definitely
got
top
it
five.
tatted.
Oh, you used to play-
I got it tatted.
wanna play?
Okay. That's
You
my
do?
first
I
tat.
forgot about that.
Okay, me versus you. What we playing
I
for?
would bust your ass.
Stop.
Like I really would.
I'm gonna play for your heart.
I knew that movie well, but I was in high school when it came out, so I played basketball, and I had a boyfriend who played basketball, so it just
She has that tattooed on her.
I do.
She
It's my
does.
first
She
tattoo
didn't get it
at 17.
yesterday.
Shout out to Gina Prince, who wrote and directed that film. That was her first
You've
film.
done like over 100 movies, I feel, right?
I don't know.
Definitely a big number.
That's like Sam Jackson numbers.
No, I think you really have like 90 something. I don't remember where I saw this. It was like 90 something movies. Like
It's been a lot. It's been because it's something that was like on cable or whatever. And then some was in the theaters, and we still.
Are there
going.
any Black or colored people's stories that you feel like haven't been told that you like to be a part of?
Yeah, there's a few of them. I ain't gonna tell y'all because somebody who's out there is gonna be like, oh, word?
Oh, that's a fact. Yo, that's a fact.
But yeah, there's
They're
a few.
paying attention.
Nah, there's a few. I have like a from the creative sense, I have like a what I call reverse engineering. Like people say, oh, who do you want to work with? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I want to work with the greats like everybody else, like whether it's Denzel or Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, I have that, but I'm more open to whatever it's gonna be. You know, I like the thrill of, oh, I didn't expect to be around this person.
Wow.
So I find for me it happens more that way, where I just keep my what do we call it? Receptors, my creative receptors open, because you never know. You know what I mean? So I just take the blinders off in that way.
I found this so interesting that you even like you put out a book recently,
Yeah.
and it's like sci-fi. I was
Yeah,
like, that,
yeah.
no one would have thought
Thank
that
you
would
for
be the
bringing
book
that
you.
up. Nubia is I don't know when this will be airing, but the book is coming out on November 8th.
Okay.
You could pre-order it everywhere right
Okay.
now. So let's run it up.
Run it up.
It's a young adult sci-fi book, and it's my first novel. And then it took me it's an Afro-futuristic.
But you wrote something else before.
Yes, From Fatherless to Fatherhood.
That's right.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll come back to
Yeah.
that. But this one is like, if you love Black Panther or something like that, you're gonna love this book. It's a coming of age story. Takes place 100 years from now, and it's about these 3 kids from a displaced people, trying to find their way. And as they're all becoming teenagers, they have basically gifts that start to sprout in each of them. That's from their lineage, but wasn't passed on like mentally, you know. So it's like they're like this magical people, and these kids don't even know what it is, and they trying to figure it out. And so every character represents a human emotion, because every human emotion is connected in some form. So I'm just really excited about it, and the early feedback so far has been people like,
Sci-fi your thing?
Sci-fi
Like-
is
art is
fire.
my thing.
Period.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't create from a sense of like, oh, I want to hit this mark. It comes to me. Like one day where Nubia comes from is, you know, how we talking about the world, how it is, this, that, and the other, what's going on, da, 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 da. And then one day I was like, what would the world look like if love itself was illegal? Like actually illegal. And then what if love itself was reborn through this 13-year-old kid that doesn't know that he's loved?
That makes perfect sense.
That sounds
That makes perfect sense, though.
Sounds
But
a
that's
little
because I'm a
out there.
sci-fi
She's
person.
so
But
lo-
it makes
she's-
perfect
She's
sense.
so loving and wants to love so much.
I don't want to, I do.
Love.
She's a
everything
lover.
She's radiates is love.
I don't know. You look a little.
I'm a little rough around the edges, but
on
I'm
the
very
show. I'm just saying, as a
I'm
fan of the
very
show, you look like you might duff somebody with some
I
love.
would.
You duff them with love.
Listen,
Tough love is a
I
thing.
tell people all the time,
yeah.
I'll go to war for peace.
Oh,
I like that.
I like
Like-
that.
That's a bar.
That's a bar.
Okay,
All right, that's the
boys.
best bar.
That's a bar.
And the thing about that is actually true.
Yeah.
You in order to get peace, sometimes you have to go to war.
That's a bar.
You got to build to destroy.
That might be
you
the
gotta
word
destroy
of the
to
day,
build.
man.
Yeah, that is your best.
I'm best.
Hands down.
I told him I loved him today, and he acted like
He ignored her.
He ignored me.
I didn't know where she was coming from. You know, because you got to watch it. Like,
It's a
I'm
trauma
sure.
response.
It's a trauma response, right?
I've been getting bullied so much. Like, it's like,
bullies
look,
you.
I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I'm like a battered woman. Like, for real, you love
Don't
me.
throw stones and hide your hand.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
do that.
battered, man. I'm telling you.
I'm a reciprocator, so at the end
Yeah,
of the day,
okay, listen, man.
I respond.
My God see you. Trust me, he sees you.
So he should know that I don't be
Yeah,
started.
well, whatever. Hey, okay.
He
Like,
was triggered.
for real.
Triggered, yo.
I love it. But your other book.
Yeah, from fatherless to fatherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to salute you on camera for coming through when we did
yes.
the documentary
Yes,
Daddy Don't Go.
yes,
Thank you,
yes.
man.
No, that was important, you know, and stuff like that. You know, my son was younger. And when you invited me, I wanted him to, you know, get out there and see that. And, you know, stuff, we got to do that for our kids, especially our sons, black males coming from the urban, you know, in environments, raising our kids, you know, and to not be like us in a certain standpoint. I don't want you to
Right.
be me. You understand? I want you to be greater than that. So, but that was a dope documentary.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and then that kind of was in that same cycle of from fatherless to fatherhood, and you know, basically, like I said, I grew up without a father, and then I became a father, and I was just like, wow, you know, because when we on the go, we be in like machine mode, and a lot of times as black men, we don't get to sort of download our own traumas or things of
right.
that nature. Like we
That's
really
right.
don't. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think, and I heard somebody say this, like, we don't get a day off. Meaning, like, it's just like, we have to just be everything for everybody.
24/7. And I believe that, you know what I mean? Like because I've experienced that and still am experiencing it, you know what I mean?
Every day.
But I wanted to, you know, one day I came home. This was some years ago. My son was like 2. He's 14 now, so you know it's that long ago. But came home, had a long day at work. You know what I mean? Washed up, wanted to just have a glass of wine, you know, watch some CNN or something, whatever. And wifey was like, yo, you know, he's still up, you know, go upstairs and play with him. And I'm like, I just worked 16 hours. Like, I'm just, you know, and this is real, you know, and I was like thinking to myself, at least I'm here, you know, and to be honest with you, that messed with me, you know, because it kept echoing in my head. Like, I mean, obviously I love all 3 of my kids and I love my son to pieces and everything like that, but I wanted to understand the origin of that thought. And that's what made me write From Fatherless to Fatherhood. That's where I was like, oh, I need to unpack some for myself.
So,
You know what I mean?
So-
To understand where is that even, how do I even have that pass through my mind? You know, it was scary. You know, like I said, obviously I love my son, but yeah, I didn't just work all this time. But I don't have what he has. You know what I mean?
Right.
I grew up in a whole different, like it wasn't no.
But
My
that's
pops wasn't dead. You know what I'm
Survival
saying?
But that's the great thing about it, the fact that you didn't have it, but was able to turn things around and then provide it.
Yeah, and that's as I was at first I wasn't thinking about writing a book. I was just unpacking some stuff that I hadn't really addressed for myself emotionally and mentally since I was a kid. And basically, next thing I know, I found myself on a journey of this. And then it was like, oh, maybe I should like really structure this as a book, because maybe, you know, parts of my story could help inspire someone else or motivate someone else, whether they don't have a kid, whether they had a kid, went astray, whether they had a kid and they there. You know, maybe they could see different aspects of certain things when you know, because when you grow up without your pops, specifically as a Black male, when you grow up without your pops, it's like we instantly all cousins. Emotionally, we just understand each other. You feel what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna say this to you women. It's like a woman without her moms. You know what I'm saying? That seems abnormal, but I've met women who they didn't come up with their moms, and they all have the same like personality traits from an emotional standpoint. Because that's its own deal right there. That's a deep thing. But I can only speak from the male perspective of not having your pops, and then you start looking at your family history, like who was my grandpas, who was my great grandpas, and all of that, so forth and so on. And when you see that pattern, it's like, for me, again, going back to how we started, I just like, well, I'm gonna set the bar on everything. I'm the superhero. I know that sounds crazy, but this is literally what I used to think when I'm like 8, 9 years old. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do something nobody's gonna expect in this life. And I'm gonna set the bar so that everything that comes from my bloodline after me has a picture on the wall. Like, that's the baseline.
That doesn't sound crazy.
That's the starting point. You know what I mean? That's who we gotta be. Like we you know what I mean? And so you got your Dr. J, you got your MJ, you got your Kobe, you got your LeBron, and you're gonna have another, and I gotta be one of those guys for my family.
That's right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Family.
You come
you
from
journal?
greatness.
No, I don't journal
You
at
don't
all.
journal?
Nah, it's all in my head because I live it. That's like when people, when you say that, it just reminds me like if I go to a concert, I can't stand when people be like, I'm like, you missing the show. The journal is in here.
Right.
This is the hard drive of the body.
Right.
And it has infinite amount of data space. You just pull the file when you need to pull it. You know what I mean? And so for me, at least that's me. You know what I mean? Writing stuff down and all of that process for me, it gets, you know, obviously if you're writing a book or a script, that's a different, you need to get it out like that. But in terms of living life, like, nah, I sit there. My mother tell me to this day, we be laughing because she like, you got a memory like an elephant.
Wow.
Because I don't just remember places. I remember the smell in the room. I remember the taste of the food. I remember every vivid detail. And I break that stuff down to my mom. She be like, yo, something, you off.
You said for your family, right? For your family. You, throughout this journey of yours, you've been able to like manage having a career, be a part of so many cult classics. and still be able to manage your family life, being a husband. We never see you on the blogs. Never no messy.
Jinx me now.
No. We ain't no jinx. No.
I see where this is
No.
going. Let me
No.
knock on the wood right there.
No. But y'all was couple goals before couple goals came out.
Thank you. Salute.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
How you pull that off?
Well, I know my shorty since I was 18. You know what I'm saying? Right before they signed with Bad Boy, we go all.
Oh, so y'all was already.
And nobody knew that.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Privacy.
Because we live in real life, and also everybody ain't have a camera in their pocket, and there was no social media, and there was no. So we had to live real life, and you know, we had a great friendship. You know, then we started dating, and we stopped, and then we came back around, and that's my one. That's how I feel. Like that's my one.
That's his one.
See, it's possible.
Hey, look.
That's his
It is
one.
possible, and this is a example of one, because you know every week there's a new couple goals, right? And then every week that couple goal then just got shattered.
Because
That's
they
what I'm
put
saying. Don't
pressure
jinx
on
me.
it,
No, we
like,
no jinxes.
Couple goals to me is a jinx within itself, because you should want to be like you. And
Yeah, why are you idolizing
But
the
hold on,
Why
hold
you
on. Let me.
idolizing
This is now we going to a different part of the conversation.
Okay.
So for you, word of advice.
For you. Mm-hmm.
First of all, everybody make their own rules
Right.
within whatever their relationship is. You whatever that is.
Make
with that,
your rules.
Yup.
Right. So you can have couple goals as a man with 2 women or 3 women or whatever the case may be.
Hey, now
But the point is, they gotta be
Mutual
into that.
That's right.
agreement.
Everybody gotta be.
they gotta
everybody
be
on the same page.
on the same page and on the same team. You see what I'm saying? And it's no religious thing, but you go to different religions. You know,
That's right.
they have that.
Whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you. That's all I'm
a
saying.
fact.
But being honest is the realest game in the world.
Yes.
We
There
talk
is no
about that.
game. Just
We
be
talk about
honest.
this. Be honest about
because-
who you are, what you want.
But you gotta temper being honest, because once you just be honest, it can become the excuse, because you can always be like, well, I
Talk
told you
about
this
it.
and
Talk
that.
about it.
You
And you-
He's reading you right now.
You just put me in the fire.
No. Yeah. You try to put me in the fire. I'm like,
This has been an ongoing conversation because I say I'm honest.
I really like
Nah,
to see
And
Whenever I'm so honest.
and then he get mad because he be like, I say something, he be like, see, this is what people think they know you so much. They do.
Honesty is freedom.
No,
It
but you
is
hit the
freedom.
nail on the head just
Honesty is
now.
freedom, but you gotta live up to that honesty too. Like he said, you can't use it as an excuse. If you're gonna live a certain type of way, you gotta live it. You can't manipulate the situation.
See, that's
You don't like that word. I know
I
you
don't like that word.
Which word?
Manipulate.
Oh.
Manipulate isn't always a bad thing.
No,
but it's how
I'm
you
not.
take it.
I'm not into that. I'm an honest person. You understand? At the end of the day, I stand on that honesty.
Okay.
I stand on truth. I stand on that side of truth.
Okay.
I'm only
Mutual
saying that.
agreement,
I'm only
though.
saying that to be honest with you. I'm only saying that from experience.
That's
'Cause,
right.
You know, there was a time when when I was outside. I invented sniping, by the way. let's keep it. Yes, you're looking at one of the OGs of that.
Of sniping.
And you'll never know.
You snipe. You never know.
You'll never
was a
know because you're
sniper.
exclusive. We don't kiss and
That
tell.
one
and all
right
that.
there. I want
But
that one.
I'm saying that to say, like, I was at a certain point where it was just like the honesty becomes like a deflection. Like instead of
told
dealing
you.
with the whatever issue actually exists, we could just fall back like, yo, I told you, shorty, blah, blah, blah.
And
And then we
that
just
was
run
where
off
it
on
gets-
that instead of like, wait a minute, are you really affected by this or this, that, and the other? Because then you could find a deeper layer from that shorty, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. Because with honesty comes a responsibility.
Yep.
Right? And then we can't be selfish within that. Again, I'm only speaking from experience.
Yep.
But because, again, you make your own rules. If I'm not gonna say you and her because that would be weird, but like you and her, yeah, because she might give me some tough love. But like you know what I'm saying, you with a shorty, yo, you can't judge nobody. Like if you and your shorty pop it off like that with and then it's whatever, but
each his own.
whatever is not toxic, whatever
Has to
is
work for both of
healthy,
you.
works for both of you, and y'all still growing together. That's the whole
Right.
point. Because that to me, that's the hardest part of a relationship. And to be honest, any relationship, friendship, brotherhood, whatever,
Yep.
sisterhood, is like when you're not growing at the same pace.
Yep.
You outgrow
Gets
people.
tricky.
That's where the discipline comes in. Like, you know what? Nah, this person loved me when I ain't have blase blah, so I ain't, just cause I'm over here now, I ain't gonna drop that off and just lie. I'm gonna be patient, let them kind of grow, get accustomed to the new me, cause we're a new us every day.
That's right.
Every morning we
develop.
You know what I'm saying? You might be used to cooking your man steak every day, and then he get up one day like, yo, I'm vegan. You like, what? We got all this steak in the freezer?
No, she don't have a man though.
What are you insinuating?
No, I'm just saying she don't have a man. Let's make it sure.
Not the point,
That's
but
not but she don't have, I'm just, she don't. No,
I'm gonna let you have this today.
Hypothetically,
I'm
hypothetically,
gonna let you have this today. I'm gonna let you have this today because I'm not gonna get in your ass today. Not today.
No, I'm just saying
It's a good day.
hypothetically.
I mean, listen.
You know,
Like I said
it's
before,
too early for this.
yeah,
Anyway.
it's hypothetically.
I'm a fan of the show,
Yeah,
so
hypothetically.
I'm being,
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it cool.
you got to keep your doors open. a little bit, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't
But you
have
don't
them
have a
in my
man.
business,
You don't
but
have a
I'm
man.
good. No,
You don't
I
have titles.
I don't have a man.
All right, well, hey,
It's no cooking.
she's available. It's the translation.
But not having a man doesn't mean you're available.
Right.
Also,
That is true.
That's true.
yeah,
That's true, because you might not want a man.
right.
You might not want the
And that's
the
okay.
responsibilities of a
You gotta tell
relationship.
me I'm good. I'm good over here.
Wait, so
But
she's
you
saying
just-
she
We know you
outside,
good.
she in the
I'm
streets,
not outside in the streets.
and
not
that's
at
why
all.
her and Maino are best friends.
Wow, wow,
They
wow,
both
wow.
wildin'.
I'm not outside.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
inside. I'm very much inside.
He's very much outside.
I'm very much inside. You like to speak a lot, like you do speaking, like go to schools.
Yeah, I do.
You do that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say a lot as much as my schedule allows, but the stuff that I do, like
Is it like at film schools and stuff like that?
No, it's just like regular. Like I'm outside. Like I like to pop up, and I don't like cameras, and I'm not one of them dudes that's holding a check. I really go to the mud and just pop up, because then you get they see that I'm real. They realize that I know that they're real, and we have real discussions. So whether it's, yes, I've, with art schools and stuff like that, of course, but I also just regular whatever. If I gotta go up to a prison and talk to a group of individuals,
You've done prison.
we do it all, man. You know what I mean? I just don't look for which kind of sucks, because we're in a social media world. So it's like, if you didn't post it, it didn't happen. But that doesn't matter for me, because there's individuals, thousands of them throughout all of these years that know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of
What you thinking of?
No, because I'm thinking like, kind of like what you said. If you don't show it, it's kind of like it doesn't exist in people's mind.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you got to find a balance of like being real, being true to yourself, but still kind of showing a little bit of something to kind of let people know that you actually there.
Yeah, you're
Bits
right.
and
You're right
pieces.
about that.
I like the mystery, but bits and pieces.
Nah, but he's right about that because of the world that we live in. Like, salute to Wallow, Gillian Wallow, but that's a part of his journey that people know him from.
Right.
He started with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So him doing it like that, where it's like, someone like me, they'd be like, oh, he must have something coming out. That, da, 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, I always
He's just doing it for the camera. It's like,
yeah, and
Right.
I don't like, and also what I found in my experience is when I am at these places, because there's no lights and camera, you get a more genuine response. Like, oh, like he over here, what you doing
That's
over
right.
here? And he came dolo, like, yo, all right. And then they, you know what I
Impact
mean?
is
So when I'm
real.
talking to them, they know it's like, yo, I'm not here for no other purpose than to try to, help y'all.
To
Maybe
give you something.
Maybe one of y'all could get a word today that might help change your life. And I'm trying to be a servant, you know what I mean?
That's a fact.
In that way.
No.
Can we talk about raising Canaan?
Let's talk about
I want
it.
to talk about
Raising
raising Canaan.
Canaan.
Raising Canaan.
You are so in love with Raising Canaan.
I missed the last episode. Like, I didn't even know it
did?
came out.
It's out.
No, I was
No,
actually so
I was
interested
looking-
to see him in real life because it's like you're really like a method. You had to get skinny for that, and you
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah,
I was
I
just
did.
like, how does he look in real life?
Because he had well, my character had in the first season, he had cancer.
Right.
So I just had to you gotta do what you got, and just shout out to the whole squad, Lionsgate stars, Courtney Kent, 50, Sasha Penn. The cast is incredible. You know what I'm saying? Patina, Malcolm, London, Haley. I mean, everybody, man. It's really a fun time, and I think it's just a dope show.
I was going to ask, what is it like? Because I'm invested.
No,
I am
it is a dope
invested.
show. It is a dope show, and it caught me off guard with the whole, thing with you being the father, or might be the father, or may not be the father, because she's telling him, man, he ain't your motherfucking father. Your father dead, his brother in jail. Go
Go talk to your uncle.
Go talk to your uncle. Yeah, he ain't your. You know what I mean? But you like really persistent trying to be in his life. You doing you probably shouldn't be doing. Like
Yeah, and this cop, she pissing me off. Your partner. She
Yeah,
she's like, oh, she gotta go. She gotta go. I mean, she gotta go. Like, I be so tight. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
nah, it's really. I'm telling you, I'm invested.
Yeah, when I first read the script, Sasha had hit me and they told me what they were doing, and obviously I was a fan of Power, and I was like, oh, okay, this could be something way different. You know what I mean? Because 50 did such a brilliant job of playing Kanan. And he was such a despicable, monstrous, terrible human being.
And then this
And then it's like, but we all have a starting point.
That's right. That's
You know what I mean? So
why is he like this?
when you meet this kid and it's like he's 14,
yes.
he's just a quirky
And
teenager.
that's what's
That's
killing
right.
me.
You're not born that.
You're not born that.
You're
Like I always say,
made into
people
that.
nobody's born racist.
No.
So that's proof that it's a learned behavior.
It's a learned behavior. It's taught.
It's taught. So it's like, so who is
Absolutely.
this Kanan? We know how the story
The how.
ended, but how did he get like
It's
that?
the how
Yeah.
because I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, how did he get here? Because you know we see him transitioning.
I like the way it's going because I identify with that. I tell people all the time, like we didn't start this way.
Yeah.
Right. It was between what we were taught in our environment, us adapting and responding to certain things, and being pushed to a certain place. Right. You know, you see his mother kind of pushing it on him. Right.
And then she retracted, but now he's trying to prove himself, and it's just like, okay, because I always think about that, because Kanan is kind of getting on everybody's nerves. Like, I was happy the last episode, like, to see him get it in, but like, he is, you look at it, you just like, dag, like, he's this way, but you got to remember where we met him, and it's like, so is it his family who did this? Is it the streets who did
was
this?
definitely
Like,
his mother.
is it
No,
the
his mom is
lies?
getting
Is it
his
you know what I mean? It's like you just start. Like I'm telling you,
You
be
go back
putting.
go back to the very first in the pilot, like the very first episode of Raising Kanan, and this is what got me in. Is that scene where you remember the first image you see of Kanan, he getting beat up in the park, and he run home like mom.
Yeah.
And his mom's in there smoking.
Forgot about that.
Smoking the, you know what I mean?
Right.
And see how she like what?
That's right.
Batteries in the sock. We know,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And she's like,
That's
take
right.
your ass back outside,
Yeah.
and if
And
you
that's
don't whoop him,
real,
I'm gonna
like,
whoop you. And
I
then
went through that. Like
Listen,
that's life.
that's
Like
real.
my
Let me
great
tell you
grandmother.
something.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't get beat up, but like my great grandma, like anybody mess with you, you put this in your book bag or whatever. You do this, you do. Like my great grandmother was out of
Let
line.
me tell you something. I grew up like that, right? It was like, if you come in here crying,
Yup.
I'm gonna whip your ass.
That was my mother.
Right? My father would find whoever it is that I was fighting, arguing with, bring him down the block,
Yup. Handle your business.
Handle your business.
Same here.
let us fight, win, lose, draw. A kid made me cry in school one day, right? In the bathroom. I forgot what it was. He might have put me in a headlock. I started crying. A friend of mine from my block saw that. He ain't say nothing. He peeped it. He had to be maybe like 8, 9. I went home, was chilling home. He came knocking on my door.
wait, hold on. This is a segment called Stories from NA Rock.
Yeah, from NA Rock. He came knocking on my door. And my mother went to the door and said, hey, what's going on? He was like, yeah, I just want to let you know that the boy made your man cry in school today.
Oh my goodness. Now you
what?
wanted to fight him.
Right.
like,
Mind
what?
your business.
I got really stepped on behind that, like for real. So I understand that. So when you see that scene about, you better go out there and handle your business.
And
Don't
he
come
scared out his mind.
Yeah.
And that's his mother. And it's not just the moms, his uncles, his whole immediate family. This is what they do. So that normalizes things, right? If it's normal to come outside in our era, you remember how the streets was,
right.
crack vials everywhere,
right.
needles, all types of whatever. It's like you don't know you poor until you go somewhere else.
That's
Yep.
right.
When you growing up, like
That's
this
right.
is, yeah,
normal.
nah,
You
we
look
good.
at situations now, like the way I am as a parent, I'm like, my kid got a curfew, you gotta be in the bed by a certain time, all this stuff. And I think about it, I'm like, growing up, like I used to be outside with my mom till like 3, 4 in the morning because she outside with her friends. And it's like,
That was
back then,
normal,
you
that's
think
right.
that's normal because that's just how it was. But
Right.
it's like, that wasn't normal. Like, there's certain things that
You
you
don't
just
realize
be like,
normal until you
like,
step outside that world,
yeah.
like the
Right.
violence and the drugs, like,
Yeah.
and like you don't know you really poor yet, like you getting into it, like it all feels normal because this is the world that we all exist in.
Right, right. And then bringing it back to Kanan, it's like, but because even in that violent world, he's sort of like the prince. He don't want for nothing. There's always food. He got clothes. He got the fly gear. Da 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 da. So it's like he's already seeing like, you know, there's something else going on here, and now he's starting to butt heads with his moms. But this is the family business. And that's what I think is so like, first and foremost, Patina Miller is incredible.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I met her.
Yes.
Killing
She's
it.
dope.
She's dope. This is a
She's
Tony Award-winning actress from Broadway.
Really?
Yes, she did Madam Secretary for I think 6 or 7 seasons or whatever the case. She's an incredible actress, and it's so fun to, like, I call it the dance, like to dance with her. Meaning like when we on camera doing our thing, because we just get lost in it. And when I first saw the first time I saw the pilot, I was like, oh yeah, we out of here. Because her eyes, I said the whole success of the series is based on her eyes. There's so much life happening.
It's
going
telling.
in
Like,
there.
they tell their own story.
Yeah, yeah.
She stand on nothing but business.
Business.
She stand
Yup.
on nothing but she
Nothing.
with all smoke.
Yup.
I was about to say, she
All
about all
smoke.
that action.
She's about a lot of action, but the only thing I'm gonna say is she will like step on people's toes for it, and I don't think she thinks about it in that light.
Well, that's another layer that I think is dope, because she's a woman in that world. You know what I mean?
You gotta be like that.
And it's, I mean, and being fair, yeah, it's a male-dominated world and this, that, and the other. But it's not like we haven't seen other examples of women who have, you know, succeeded in that world. But she all the way about that action, like for real. So it's just really interesting, like,
And it's interesting to see the
beautiful
dynamic
black
of the
brown
family.
skin with the hair. Her outfits be like,
outfits
No,
be
she
fly.
be eating.
Her outfits be fly.
Oh my God.
You
Her
know what I mean?
outfits.
Her outfits be super fly. Joey Badass is doing a
Joey
great
is
job.
killing
Joey
it.
doing a great
He's
job.
doing an amazing job.
Joey
That's
killing
100%.
it.
Shout out to Joey Badass.
Yes,
Shout out to
like,
Joey
he's
Shout out
doing
to
Badass.
an
Joey
amazing
Badass.
job.
You work with a lot of rappers, acting, right?
Yeah.
You did that. You even rap, right? But there's a question I always wanted to ask you. It's been said that, and I know many people ask you about Tupac over the years, right? About Juice and this and that, right? But it's been said so many times that Pac may have been affected by the role of Bishop, right? Is that something that you noticed? Did you notice a change in Pac after Bishop? Do you remember a different Pac or slightly different Pac before the role?
Nah, I mean, not in that way. I'll say it like that. Like, I don't necessarily think that the role of Bishop directly affected Pac. Pac was already on that type of time. You know, he's literally born a revolutionary. But Pac was also like, pick the right word. He was very he was from an emotional standpoint.
Dramatic?
No. He was sensitive. Like,
Okay.
the littlest thing could get to Pac, you know what I mean, that nobody would pay attention to, because he was so aware. He was so aware, and he was being driven by a purpose that I would like to believe that he understood. Like, when I say Pac was on a different type of time, it's really interesting to be around certain human beings, and their whole vibration is different than anybody else you ever been around. And Tupac was one of them. Like, he just seemed, his energy was like life was on fast forward, like all the time. Like the type of conversation you could talk to him about Nietzsche, Shakespeare, and then Bismarck and Kane, all in one. Like, you know what I mean? And
He was here. We were here. He was here.
yeah. And then when we look at, I mean, obviously it's easier to look back.
Back.
Easy to
and
look
see
back.
it,
When
and
going
see
through
yeah.
it.
But that, to your question, I think what affected Pac is the same thing that affected all of us, which was like fame. again, this is pre-internet, this is pre-social media, this is none of that. So when you just go into the store over here and people just seeing a commercial with you in the, oh, yo, you the dude.
Right.
Art wasn't as disposable as it is now. Now everything is disposable. You scrolling, you might see something like, oh, you like it. 3 scrolls later, you forgot about it.
It doesn't affect you.
Back then
it was like
for the next month. Yo, son, I seen Maino in the store. He had on these and this and that. And you be talking about that for the whole month. You see what I'm saying? So it was more, in my opinion, it was more authentic. But I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, because for this generation, this is their version of authenticity, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
It's so more accessible now.
It's
nothing to see.
Art is too disposable.
Right.
And so that's why I say I think that's what affected Pac, because he was in a very interesting position. If you think about it, prior to doing Juice, he was already with Digital Underground. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
He was a roadie on tour.
And he already had an album out.
He didn't have an album
No?
out. He was recording his first album while we was doing Juice.
Oh. So, but when Juice was out, his album was out.
It came out after the movie.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
Am I right on that? Oh, it came out before the movie?
Came out before the movie.
But he was recording it while we did the movie. Okay, so Shano just corrected me. That's our live editor in real time. But he looked at me like, nah. but he was recording.
He was recording while y'all was shooting.
While we was shooting. But I'm just saying this to say he was already with Digital Underground, had gone on tour, would be like one of their dancers. So he had already experienced like a version of it, but in Rest in Peace to Shock G, like he's watching that unfold. Wow, but I'm recording this over here. And yo, I just booked this movie. Like you ain't seen nothing like that before. And you know what I mean? So he's doing this movie.
That happening fast.
Everything is happening in real time all together. So by the time Juice came out, now it's a difference. It's on the big screen. It's posters everywhere. And you know, I love that movie. I think it is a classic. You know, not just a cult classic, but just across the board. Hip hop, you know, hood movie, whatever. Yo, Q, you know what I mean? So all of that is happening now. At the same time, now he's trying to put out an album, and it's like you could argue that the movie was bigger than his first album.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? So imagine being the person that's experiencing all of that with everything that we heard from
worlds
him.
too.
That's what I'm saying.
But and your real life.
And your real life. There you go. You know what I'm saying? He's dealing with, God bless Queen Afeni, you know, he's dealing with stuff with his moms and his family, and it's just but Pac was always a revolutionary. That's the one thing I would want the younger generation to take away, is that he always want the best for our community in the ways that he could. Like Pac, that's what I miss about him the most, is like, damn, if Pac was with us now, like I already know what he would be doing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying he would have been Obama, but he would have been Obama-like.
It would have been a whole different situation.
It would have been, and he would have had the ear to people, because he was so articulate and smart, and like, again, from where he come from, he had the vision of, yo, this is what we need in our communities, and this, that, and the other, and you know, that's all what is. But doing the film didn't make him like, oh, now I want to be a gangster. He was already on that. When people talk about Pac shooting 2 cops in Atlanta, no, that's what it ended up being. What it was he was driving and saw 2 Caucasian dudes messing with a black dude. He don't know they police.
He didn't know they was police.
He was jumping out on some, yo, they doing something to defend let me defend my brother. And they was loosey goosey, and he was with that thing, and let him have it, and then found out.
But they was cops,
So that's 2 different stories. This whole shoot the cops thing, he was defending us, his own, and that's what people need to stand on, the facts. You know what I'm saying? And that's iller to me than shooting 2 cops. Just seeing
the fact that what his reasoning behind even getting into the situation.
You see what I'm saying? Just trying to defend a brother he didn't even know.
He didn't know.
Yo, why they got him over there like that? Yo, let's jump out. Yo, let's go see what's up.
If anybody ever interviewed that guy.
That's a great.
The guy who
he defended.
The guys, was beaten up.
You mean the guy that they was beating up? Yeah.
Right.
Nah, I've never seen that. But I'm just saying there's things like that, and then you know how the stories go down, and then it becomes like mythology, and they twist this fact and twist that. Folklore. Exactly. So you know what I'm saying? Pac was a incredible individual, and I'm thankful to have had, you know, had the opportunity to share time and space with him. You know
You
what
was
I
on
mean?
the same journey at the same time, right? Getting famous at the same time.
Yeah.
How did the fame affect you?
Um,
Because now people starting to see you. Because the movie hit instantly.
we was having fun.
I was about to say he was a sniper.
Yeah. Yo, son, we was.
I can just tell by the way he went back.
It's
Like,
sniping season.
Thought about it
like, man, those were some good.
You thought about it like,
Man.
Those were some good times.
Because you know why? Because there was a etiquette in how you moved,
right.
and there was no social media. There wasn't cameras everywhere.
Right.
So when it happened, and that's either way. If you walk down that alley, you got duffed up.
Right.
Only people notice is you and them.
I always
You
be
know what I
looking
mean?
at stuff like
Or if whatever happened
Right.
with Shorty,
Right.
well, nobody there.
That's what it
That's right.
is.
What are
You
your
mean?
like
Right.
fondest memories from that era?
I think just seeing one of my favorite memories from that whole era is when we went to the premiere Juice, and I took my mom's, you know, because my mom's thought I was gonna be like a lawyer or a teacher or something. You know, I was one of them kids I got out of high school. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get a job. She's like, you're not going to college? You know what I'm saying? My best friends is going to college and stuff. And I'm like, nah, I booked this movie. She's like, movie? Like, yeah, like,
Wow.
yo, go to, you know, so going through all of that, and I'm filming the movie. I'm on the train. We shooting up in Harlem. I'm taking the train to set. I'm filming this movie. But when we went to the premiere, when my mom's looked, and Diana Ross was sitting like right there.
Wow.
From my mom
Wow.
was like,
Wow.
This is real.
Wow.
And you was like, yeah, I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told
That's
you.
one of my favorite memories because I saw her have a sense of security, like, okay, he's gonna be okay.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo,
That had to be ill to show that to your mother, like to have your mother experience that at an early age. You was like, what, 16?
I was 17. So I was 18 when the movie came out. I was
Right.
17 when we filmed
That
it.
had to been a
Yeah,
dope
parents
experience
in
for
that
your
era
mother,
didn't
though.
understand.
Yeah.
For real.
Yo,
like,
son, when I
really.
say she fanned out, like,
Yeah.
because that's Diana Ross. I
As
mean,
she
Right.
should.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
a couple of feet from Diana
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah, but
like-
see, for
Yeah,
me,
my son.
but
With
for
my
me,
son.
Rakim is right over
That's
there.
right.
This was like, I'm like, yo,
That's right.
you know what I mean?
That's right.
And
That's
then
right.
the movie come on and everybody watching. I'm just sitting there like totally detached. Like I have a different creative thing, but just like it's really about how people gonna respond. And
It was amazing.
I knew it. I try to go off of that feeling. Like when I read a script the first time, I'm like the audience watching it. I'm just like, I just be watching it in my head. I'm reading the lines and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be fire. Or, but how much they paying? You know, you gotta live.
Sometimes it's
You gotta
like,
live.
You know, you get scripts and you're like, not so much.
Sometimes you don't know.
You don't know.
You know what I'm saying? But with like Raising Canaan or Juice, like these are the ones I'm like, yeah, nah, this is gonna be lit.
Was it ever a role or script that you read and you was like, I don't know about this one. You did it anyway. You wasn't sure what it was gonna be, and then it popped.
Nah, it was the other way.
It was always
I did. There's only 2 projects that I can remember off the top of my head where I didn't want to do it, but you know, the agents and the managers, nah, but this person, this director or this writer, they're gonna be the next thing, and you should just do it. And I do it, and I'm like, I told you,
Oh wow.
like this is trash.
Wow.
Like this is not. So I always go for the gut. I can't get away from that feeling. You know what I mean? But it's a very hard career to maintain in terms of you got to think about it though. Like we don't have you. I'm an actor. We don't do walkthroughs and after parties and all
Right,
this. I mean, some of the
right.
younger cast of them is doing it. Michael Rainey, salute to him. They doing that, but it's like all of these ancillary streams of revenue. Our thing is just the thing. You know what I mean? And if you ain't building something outside of that, then you just, you know what I mean?
But after all this longevity, what keeps you? What is there anything that still gives you that exciting instinct feeling that you're talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, where I'm at now, it's just an evolution, you know what I'm saying? Writing, you know, producing, I'm going to direct. And for me, it's just like the evolution and realizing, I like to put it in these terms, like right now I'm living in my forever. And I mean that by what we do is going to be here long after we are physically gone.
Legacy.
So we use that word legacy. I like to call it forever. I take it that serious at least. Every bar you write, is in the annals of history. You know what I mean? How you felt in that particular day, where this story's coming from, where this half a verse is coming from, is forever. You know what I'm saying? And when we realize the weight of that, then you have to, it's like challenging yourself. That's why I said earlier, ultimately we competing with ourselves.
That's right.
Because nobody could be you.
That's right.
Nobody could be me.
My only rival.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, but we, ultimately it's not a competition. It's about serving our purpose. And for me, I know I'm here for a reason. You know, I've been so blessed by the Creator and the people. The love of the people is what keeps me going. You know what I'm saying? And when people respond how you, yo, shorty, da 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 da, it's like
you
that,
love that to see
that get me going. Like,
yeah, because you know they in there.
yeah.
They in it.
And you want, and
Invested.
that's, I mean, look, you know, every song is made to be heard,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
You don't want to just sit in the crib and just,
You doing your little friend dirty though.
who?
Your little friend on the show.
Oh,
You doing her dirty.
Nah. I'm personally,
Come on.
I'm playing the character.
I know.
But listen, man, I could talk to you all day, homie, for real.
No doubt.
I could vibe with you all day, man, and I got a lot of respect for you, bro.
Yes.
I appreciate
You've
you.
been,
Likewise.
you've
It's all
been
the same.
stand up and solid since day one.
Thank
I
you, my
appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having
Thank
me,
you.
man.
Nah,
It's
you
mean
shared
the
a
world.
lot with us, bro.
No doubt.
But listen, before you gotta break bread with us, bro.
Okay,
That's
let's
what
do
we
it.
do here, man.
Let's do it.
This
Ooh,
is
brunch.
gourmet. This is gourmet. This is brunch. Look at this.
Okay,
Come on,
I'm
over
with it.
here. This is top notch right here.
That's
This
looking
is
right there.
Pearls Monroe with the
Thank you so much.
with the what's this, chicken and waffles?
Yeah.
Oh we.
Red little potatoes
What is
at the
that?
bottom.
Red velvet though.
Red velvet waffle?
Red velvet.
All right, I see what's going on. Yo, they done got bougie on us, yo.
Yeah.
Got red velvet waffle joints.
This is
man.
mainstream Maino.
Right.
Yeah. This is brand safe Maino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
This
yo.
is crazy.
Red velvet.
Red velvet. Why you stacked it all up like this? You know I can't do it like this.
Because it's presentation. Thank you,
Presentation.
Pearl.
You know, we're hitting the gym tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to.
Right after
this
this.
is crazy.
Oh,
Kitchen
good.
Talk the
Wow.
podcast.
Kitchen Talk, you already know what it is. Thanks for rocking with us. It is up. Fox Soul, Harlem Rock, Free Ricky till they free him. Georgia, your favorite time boy, your boy Maino. We signing off. Omar Epps is in the building.
Brooklyn.
It's love. Brooklyn.